my name is Noah, and today I'm going to be talking about Noah's Ark at South Beach Gospel Ministry, and I'm going to say. So this is the book of Noah, and I'm going to be reading you the story and explaining you the theme of the story and how things are. Okay, so let's get started. Noah's Ark. A long time ago, God locked down on the world.
Noah, let me ask you a few questions. Keep your voice up and don't hold the book in front of your face.
Okay.
Keep the voice up.
Yes. A long, long time ago, God locked down on the world and formed and frowned. He wasn't at all pleased with what he saw. The world was no longer the beautiful place he has made. Everywhere he looked, he saw fighting and people being unkind. The world needs a new start, God decided. I will send a flood to wash away all the wickedness, and I will ask Noah to help me. God knew that Noah was a good, honest man who loved God. He worked hard for his family and was very kind in the tiniest of creatures. God knew that Noah was a perfect man to help him with his plan. So God spoke to Noah. At first, Noah was afraid, but when he heard God's kind words, he listened carefully. Noah, said God, I have something very important to tell you. I'm going to wash the world clean with a great flood, then start all over again. Every living thing will be washed away, but you and your family will be safe. You must build a big, strong ark and fit it with every kind of animal you can find. There was no time to lose. Noah went to find his toolbox at once. Then Noah rubbed off to tell his family what God had said. They all loved God as much as Noah did, so they got to work right away. As they cut down trees and started to saw and hammer away, people came to see what they were doing. God told me to build an ark to save us from a great flood, explained Noah. Ha ha, laughed the others. You must be crazy. You're wasting your time. Why don't you come and have fun with us instead? Noah refused to listen to them. He worked harder and harder. He worked day after day after year. He knew what he was doing. God's work.
Okay.
Another picture, page. There's ARK here. Let's get this page. After many long years, Noah tapped in a final nail and stood back to admire his work. His ark was finished at last. It's very well, scoffed a passerby. But what use is a boat without water? For the boat was sitting on a dry land. You'll see, replied Noah. 3 plenty of room for you if you want to come aboard when God floods the world. You're completely crazy, laughed another person. Only a madam would spend all those years building a boat without water. Everyone laughed at Noah and cried with their sinful ways, but Noah did not mind. He still had work to do. It was time to load the ark with all the supplies they would need for a long voyage. Picture? Okay. As Noah and his family carried food, water, and piles of warm bedding onto each ark, they suddenly heard A loud sound. What was that? asked Noah. Everyone stopped and looked around. At first, they couldn't see anything. They began to rise and govern began to shake. Look! cried Noah's wife, pointing there in the distance. They could just make out a pair of woolly sheep, and behind them came a pair of striped zebras. Behind them was a pair of pouncing horses. The animals were coming. Soon every single animal you could possibly imagine, of a few you couldn't imagine, were staring on the ark. All aboard, called Noah as his wife checked each one off the list. The next page. This is the next page. Noah was almost ready to slam the door and shut when he noticed the crowd was watching. People from far and wide had come to laugh at crazy Noah. It's not too late. Save yourselves and climb aboard before the rain starts, cried Noah. But they just made the crowd laugh even more. They all thought Noah and his family were crazy to crowd on the boat all these noisy, smelly animals. They refused to go with them. They roared with laughter as Noah struggled to get the last animals on board, close the door, and get on the ark. Animals immediately, cloud filled the sky, and the first drops of rain began to fall. It rained and it rained and it rained. This is the picture of the page that I'm going to read now.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the flood, you see? The whole world flooded with Noah's Ark, standing there only with Noah's family. I'm going to explain more after the story, guys, so keep up. Pay attention. Some of the words here in the story are a little complicated to understand, so you just take it easy, okay? So I'm going to read this page now. We only have a couple more pages, and now I'm going to explain to you why that this story is important. Soon water began to flood in the land around the ark. Listening flashed and thunder crashed. Wind howled and there was waves crashing against the side of the ark. One enormous wave lifted the ark clear off the ground and carried it away. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Water covered the world until there was no dry land left. The ark was tossed around by waves, but it refused to sink. Instead, Noah and his family were too busy to be afraid. They were with animals to feed, beds to clean. Noah always found the time to make sure that even the smallest animal left in safe and calm. Don't worry, he told them. God will take care of us. This is the next page that I'm going to read. Hope you're listening, kids. And if your kids are not here, if you have kids, tell them to come. They should listen. Sure enough, God hadn't forgotten them. One day, a warm wind began to blow, and the rain stopped. Very soon, the water began to go down, and then after 150 days of calm seas, there was a loud bump, followed by a scraping sound. The ark had come on the top of a mountain called ARK. Noah and his family peered out anxiously. When can we get off? Asked his sons. The animals are getting rowdy. Noah just smiled. God will give us a sign when it's time to get out, he said. Many long weeks passed. Then Noah decided to send out a dove to search for dry land. All day, everyone waited anxiously for the bird to return. Finally, the dove came back with the fresh olive branch in its beak. That's a sign from God. The water has came down, cried Noah. clapping his hands excitedly. It's time to leave the ark. And now this is the last page. Almost the last page. They're going to leave the ark. See? No, not the last page. Sorry about that. This is the last page. Okay, guys. I have a couple more pages to go, and I'm going to explain the theme of this story. And don't be laughing. Don't be cracking. It's true. Anyways, Noah and his son pushed against the ark door until it burst open. There was a stampede as the animals purred out in sunshine. They were delighted to be free at last. They couldn't wait to find homes and fill the world with new life once more. Noah and his wife were so glad that they had made it safely through the flood. As they watched the animals leave, looked up into the sky joyfully. "Thank you, God, for keeping us safe," they cried. Suddenly, an amazing striped arch filled the sky. It was the world's very first rainbow. Then God spoke to Noah again. "Do you see this rainbow?" asked God. "This is a sign of my promise to you and all of the animals, that I will never, ever send a flood again to wash away the world. Every time it rains, a rainbow will appear to remind you of my promise and my love for the world." From that day on, God was true to his word. He never sent a flood, and Noah and his family, happy in their bright new world, lived happily ever after. Then, this is the color of the book. Now I'm going to explain to you the theme of this book. And I'm going to see, I don't want you guys to laugh and think it's funny theme. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the theme of this book is. The theme of Noah's Ark is, you should never make fun of God. You should be with God's side. You should believe God. You should take trust in God. In the beginning of the story, you heard Noah was disappointed in the world. He frowned. He didn't like what he saw the people doing. He said, "Oh, the people are not being kind. They're not being nice." It's not nice to be not nice. They were throwing stuff. They were messing everything up. They were blah, 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 blah. So the theme of this story is to believe in God. And if you heard at the end why we have a rainbow, God's promise. Every single time it rains, there's gonna be a rainbow. When it rains and the sun's out, you're getting a rainbow. As God's promise that he will never flood this earth again. And this is the theme of our story, Noah's Ark. And as I said, you shouldn't laugh at the theme. Don't think it's funny. Hee hee, that's why there's a rainbow, yay! It's a good theme. And I'm going to explain more about Noah now. So, you know how Noah is a prophet? That's what my name is. Noah means comfort. Comfort, okay? Comfort. It means hope. And Noah was comforted. He wasn't scared. He wasn't scared when the earth was flooded and he was in his ark. He was in the middle of nowhere. And he was just sending out doves. And here we have phones. He didn't have a phone. He couldn't call for 911. And plus, if there wasn't even phones in 911, they wouldn't even come. It was a flood. So Noah was strong. He didn't cry. He wasn't scared. He was strong. God kept his promise, and Noah kept his promise, and he did well. He succeeded. He didn't die. He was the only one of all the people. And he took all the animals. He was the only one who believed in God and trusted God. And no one else was doing it. It was the first person to believe in God. So this was South Beach Gospel Mystery, and this is it for today about Noah. Bye.